1, I want to show you what I just played. It's an example set for my new device Melody Trigger, so you can actually trigger melodies via one MIDI note input. This could come from a drum controller, an E-drum pad, or a push, or any other external MIDI note, or any other external MIDI controller which is sending MIDI notes. So this example set is included in the whole package you get when you buy the Melody Trigger version 1. Cool, so let's have a look what's happening in the set. You can open up the set. Obviously I just used Ableton stock sounds here. So there are a few drum sounds in here from myself which are in the pack itself, but usually it's just getting the different instruments. It should get the different instruments you got in here from your Ableton Live stock library. If you don't get the instruments in here, you can put in different instruments. So we got drums, melody and chords, really basic, really easy. And let's have a look and go through all the different tracks here. So first we get the drums here, and we have a few sounds. I got my SPDS-X and a KT10 at the bottom here. So obviously I need to switch on the first track. Need to make sure that the right MIDI port is routed in, because I'm not using a lot of different other MIDI inputs here. I could leave this to all ins, but in an actual Ableton Live set, in a set you're using to perform, you want to make sure that exactly the right port is selected. So for the SPDS-X, if you have the USB connection here with MIDI, it would be the SPDS-X. So, okay, so we got a few sounds here. I got my kick. What else do I got here? I got a snare, got some rim, side stick, and I would like to have a right cymbal up here. And this is like one good example, because the right cymbal now is sitting here. Let's play it. So, and I already know which note is coming out here from this pad, so I could change. There are 3 different ways how to deal with this. So actually I want to trigger this sample there, but I'm sending out the wrong note where the sample is sitting. So I just could put it where the note is coming in. So I know it's a C2, so now it will be playing already. Or I could change the MIDI note which is being sent out from this particular pad on this particular kit on the SPDS-X. Excuse me. So I could change this internally in the SPDS-X. So instead of a C2 having a D#2 being sent out, if you're not sure how to do this, check the course from me on the SPDS-X and Ableton Live, where I explain how to change this. Cool. There is another way to do this. You can use, I have a drum rack tuner, Max for Live device, especially for those things here as well. It could make sense to have different presets of drum rack tuners which you can actually change as well, so you can retune all the MIDI notes which are coming in, and then set them, automate them, and just in a song or even in 2 different bars, you could switch like between different presets, different sounds being triggered here via MIDI clip automation. The drum rack tuner is part of a pack I released via Isotonic Studios. I will put a link up here, I think it is. Okay, so how does it work? So I actually know I want to have the D#2 being played here by this particular pad. So I just have to press S for sync, and now it's waiting for the note. And you can see it's now receiving the C2 and pitching it to the D#2, and that's all you need to do. If I would have a sample here on the C2, because now both notes, you can see both notes are being played here, I need to set this to a pitch value where I don't have a note, so probably C-2 or G8 or something. And this way it's set, and I can store this, save this as a preset in my user library if you need this. If you need more flexibility here in tuning, then maybe use this. If you maybe don't have a drum module or an E-pad, which is easy to switch and is able to switch like between different MIDI notes, tunings, you could say. So on the SPDS-X, if I change the kit, I can put in MIDI note values for every pad, different on every kit. So if you don't have a device which can do that, Drumming Tuner could be a good thing to have here as well. Okay, so now just playing the drums. You get the picture. So that is just the first track, which is just really basic. If you want to go more into that sort of stuff, check out one of my online courses if you can't make this connection right with MIDI, etc. So let's have a look on the next track where we got a melody trigger device and we have really basic functions here. So we just have a really long melody in here. So let's switch off everything else which is in the back here. So, and here again, if you're opening up your set and this thing is not shown, this is probably because you haven't installed the melody trigger you bought right. So you need to drag the melody trigger device into your user library. And then when you're opening up this set, it will get this path automatically. So if you can't get this working, you can drag and drop a melody trigger device straight on here anyways. And it will receive or remember the data which was in there. But I highly advise you keep your storage of your Max for Live devices, and in general keep your storage on your computer like clean, because you might migrate to a new computer or rehearsing with someone, just bringing a stick, putting your stuff in, and your stuff isn't there. So you need to be aware of where your files are. So very important, install like Max for Live devices in the user library folder. And yeah, so things like this will be automatically seeable to the Ableton Live system. Cool. So what do we get here? We got this melody. Let us just click through this. Okay, it's not turned on. No device here is turned on. So this is the actual sound device here, which is doing the sound. The instrument, it's called in Ableton Live. So, and you can hear and see this is the sequence which is being in here, just the different melodies and notes. Okay, so I set this up already to being triggered by the pad here in the middle, so syncing up would be really easy. I just press S and it detects the note which I'm sending in, you know? So I don't need to think about too much, like which MIDI note am I sending here and stuff. And we get the same triggering one step with the kick drum here as well, or with the kick pedal, I mean. So this is synced to the C1 as well. I will show you why later on. So that's it. I just got this a bit random melody in here. So let's say the sounds are not, the notes are not long enough. I could set the duration up here, but it's already set up quite long, and let's say you want the duration much longer. You can do this via a MIDI effect device note length. So you will find this in the MIDI effects and under note lengths. Here it is. So you can drag and drop this in, switch it on, and then say, okay, the notes should be longer. You can define the length here now. Sounding much nicer. Okay, so what else do we get? We get some reverb here at the end. So this is happening, it's an audio effect, so this is happening after the audio device. Yeah, so let's fold this down maybe. put it up a bit so you can hear it. Really nice. Okay, so these are all the things I've done for the melody, really easy. So I have one pad and the kick pad or the kick pedal triggering just this one step sequence in here, just the different notes. So let's go into the chords, which has a little bit more things actually behind it. So let's have a listen first. What's happening here? Chords are here. They are not being switched on. You can arm a track or you can set the monitor to in, so it will always receive the routing MIDI, the MIDI which is being routed in. So just two notes being triggered here, which are triggering a chord. So let's have a look and strip this down a little bit. What's happening here? Let's switch off all the instruments, all the effects. I mean, we don't need to set this up or to go through this. So first of all, we have only one sequence here with two steps, just two notes are being triggered by A1. Yeah. Instrument here as well. And then I added this one plugin here, which is an endless notes, which means once I play a note, it won't stop until the next note is being triggered. This device is in the whole pack for the melody trigger. It stays on, it stays on, it stays on, it stays on. Ooh, and then nothing else happening. Maybe it was too long. There you go. Probably needed one hit at the beginning to trigger it. So yeah, so this note stays on as long as the instrument is able to play this. So because there are different instruments, and if you got some sampled stuff at some point, and even you can hear here, the note is still on, but it's getting really quiet. Yeah. So this is what the endless notes device here is doing. It's getting those two notes and is waiting for the next note before the first note stops, and you can still see here a note is still hanging in here. Okay, so the next device is a MIDI effect as well, which is a chord device. So what's happening here? This device is getting those notes and is adding more notes. So plus 12 semitones, octave up, plus 16 semitones, 19 and 32. So this gives me a nice jazzy chord. It's adding those four notes to the initial notes I'm triggering and sending out via my melody trigger here. So now it sounds like this. Just one pad, playing those two chords. Obviously it could be more chords, but this is an example set for people to get starting with it, so I kept it simple, obviously. If you want to trigger chords with different settings, check out a Max for Live device of mine, which is called No.1 Chords, because there you can actually trigger different chord settings, because here I'm sticking to this one chord setting all the time. So no matter what pitch I'm putting in, I'm always getting this plus 12, plus 16, plus 19, plus 23 added. And maybe sometimes I want to trigger a major chord and the next I want to trigger a minor chord. So this wouldn't work only with the chord device on its own. You need to chain it and then decide which note is going in where. Much easier to get my note to chord device and do it with that. So we got two audio effects here. Delay. Nice little vibrato. And then a reverb here as well. Yeah. So, and that's everything which is set up in here, but where you can do a lot with it already. So, let's play a little bit and then go into 1-2 more things here. Okay, so I just play a little bit and let's see how this could work with the space. Okay, so really easy, really nice, a little bit cheesy, yeah, but you know, what is happening here? I'm playing the chords, I'm playing the melody, and when I start the beat, because I'm playing then the kick pedal is triggering the melody as well, so I can like do a little bit combination of actually triggering the melody but not hitting the pad, which is actually triggering the melody. And as you might remember, let's have a look on here again on the melody. It's a combination of triggering the melody by this pad and by the kick pedal, with the kick pedal, sorry. Yeah, and this way I can play the melody even if I'm not playing this pad, so and so on and so forth. Obviously, that wouldn't work for every musical concept, but it's really nice working for this sketch, this musical sketch. So I can even automate like having this being turned on or being turned off. So maybe I want a part where my kick pedal is triggering the melody in the set and later on I don't want it. So I can automate this input here. So now only the kick is playing. Let's switch off the drums here. So now it's not happening. And now it is happening because the C1 is actually activated as a trigger input for the melody. So if I want to automate this, you need to go into the envelope section of a clip. If you want to do it in session view, obviously. And already the last parameter which you touched here, because I touched this the last in the clip in the envelope section, it will already select the right parameter or the parameter I touched last. So what I can do here now is let's say 1 bar it's on, 1 bar it's off. Let's have a listen how this works. So I'm playing now this clip, and then only when it's switched on, yeah. So you can automate this via a MIDI clip, and obviously you can automate this via a pad as well. So let's quickly do this. Just to show you a few options here of how you can think this concept and how you can integrate this concept. So for some people this might be quite basic and stuff they learned a while back ago, but just to put this in here as well as a concept you can use while you're playing. So I could MIDI map this button here, and my remote in is switched on here. That's good. So now the kick pedal isn't playing, isn't triggering the melody because the C1 is switched off. And now I switch it on with this pad here, and you can see this, and now it's playing the melody. Yeah, you get the picture. Cool, nice one. So that was just the first example preset. You get this included with buying the whole package of the Melody Trigger version 1. I'm so excited to see what people are coming up with this device. Please post it if you're doing music with it, and of course it would be nice to get a link there as well to the device and to my stuff. Cool, okay, thanks, bye bye.